So, FalseEyeD is implying that Niji Sanji is paying around 1 to 3% of the merchandise sales to the actual talent. And this is shocking people, especially since Niji Sanji, in my opinion, is one of the most left-leaning corporations out there for VTubers. Left-leaning being the ideology of sharing is caring and eating the rich. So it is a little bit interesting, but I would like to present to you the other side of the argument, something that has not been presented. And I'm going to leave you guys to decide for yourselves if 1 to 3% is that much or if it's too little. You see, if you want to start a VTubing company, it's actually a lot more expensive than people think. If you want to have one of these AAA models that corporations do have, it can cost up to 20 grand. That is around $10,000 the drawing and another $10,000 the rigging. But this is the more top echelon, more expensive models. Let's assume that you can get away with 10 grand per model and rigging per talent. So if you're going to hire around 4 girls, that's $40,000 that you're going to have to pay for if you want them to have professional looking avatars. On top of that, you need the Stream UI assets, which luckily aren't that expensive, but they are very important nonetheless. One background picture can cost all the way up to $500, and I know what some of you Pixiv fans will say, well, hold on a little bit, I can commission it from my artist for cheaper. And the answer is that yes, you may, but does it have commercial release? Because that's also very important, right? Commercial releases come more expensive just because you can get a commission from your favorite artist with your favorite Ushikushi anime girl. That doesn't mean you are allowed to use it for commercial purposes, which is what the VTuber companies want. So all the backgrounds that you are seeing and the stream assets, they cost money. So for example, if you want a more beautiful chat like Pipkin Pippa is having, or if you want all of those nice pop-ups when you get donations, all of that is art which costs money. And then some of the companies also have access to theme songs and things that are particularly tailored for that VTuber. That is also very expensive, can cost up to $300 of 1 minute loop song. But you probably don't want it 1 minute because then it becomes too stressful, so you're going to want it 2 minutes. You also have to pay for the legal department, which is very important in a VTube company because you want those NDAs flying. When you graduate those girls, you want to make sure that they can't talk shit about you. You also need to make sure that the contracts are legit so you don't get sued. The legal department is also very expensive in and of itself, as you're going to have to keep drafting contracts for different girls, different talents. You need to give contracts to the artists, to the musicians, to the people making the stream UI, so on and so forth. So all in all, as you can see, it's a very expensive business to run a VTuber corporation, because otherwise everyone would do it. But when it comes to making the merchandise itself, it's a whole different expense. So if you want like a figurine or something like that, you gotta commission a 3D artist. You then have to commission someone that actually does the whole manufacturing process, and then you have to figure out how you're going to deal with the distribution, and you have to use the advertisement. Meanwhile, the VTuber itself is focused on her channel, doing her stuff as the talent does, but it's not involved with any of this creative process. It's pretty much similar how if you were to create something like a t-shirt and then ask me to sell it for you. So I would advertise it on my channel. How much would you give me for that? Would you give me 25% of the sales? Would you give me 10? Would you give me 5? Would you give me 50? It really depends, right? So at the end of the day, it's up to people and to the fans to decide. But it is definitely important to know that if you do purchase VTuber merch in order to support your talent, you may not actually do that much of supporting. These VTuber talents, while they do have their chat filled with red and blue and green super chats, they're not making that much cash. Usually they manage to keep less than 40% of that. Take into account that YouTube already takes a cut when you donate to them, and then their company takes another cut. And the company itself, you know, it may not necessarily be greedy. They do have to pay the legal, they do have to pay the artists, they do have to pay the musicians, and they do have to pay everyone else that's involved with the end product. The managers themselves also cost a lot of money, and from my personal experience, managers are essential. You see, most small VTubers that start up, they don't really know how to collab, from my personal experience, and this is something that keeps them from growing as independents. One of the most powerful way of growing, whether you're on Twitch or on YouTube or anywhere, is through networking. By making streams with other content creators that are larger than you manage to get eyeballs on your channel. And you get people interested, and they are going to then follow your stuff. The problem that I noticed with a lot of independent VTubers is that they are too shy to ask for collabs. I do not know really why that is, but from what I've been told is that they are afraid of getting rejected. They view rejection as something personal, as if their content isn't good enough, when there are multiple reasons that another content creator can reject you. Number one, they can look at your subscriber and say that, well, I'm not going to waste my time talking to a 2-view because I would rather talk with this other person that has more views and, like just like the 2-view wants subscribers, so do I. And I am going to decide to use my time in talking with this other larger content creator and getting subs for me. Unfortunately, this is the mindset of a lot of content creators. Secondly, they may just not be interested in collabing. They may not feel that they have the energy, or they may not view that their particular audience would be interested in what they have to bring. There are multiple reasons why collabing doesn't happen, but again, most of these independent VTubers that just start out, they are very afraid of rejection, and they take it very personal. And this is where the manager comes in. I think like this is the biggest contribution that a VTuber company has for its talent, and it's the introduction of the manager. And it leads to a very hilarious situation where the manager from one company goes to another and says, okay, so my girl would like to collab with your girl. And the other manager goes like, okay, well, what will they do? Like, well, they can play this game. And the other manager goes like, great, that's interesting. I will ask my girl and then come back and you can tell your girl, and then your girl can come up with a time schedule that my girl is also available. It's absolutely ridiculous. But it is what it is, here in the independent YouTube sphere, that just doesn't happen. I just walk to Arch and I'm like, hey, Arch, you want to play a video game on Friday on stream? And he goes like, nah. And I go like, okay, yeah, fine. Or he goes like, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, all right, well, we'll see you then. And by the way, VTubers, once they grow and they have like 1 million subs, they do not have this problem with collabing. It's just the small ones that are struggling with. And companies have managers to deal with this, and they also cost money. So let me know what you think. Is 1-2%, 3% too little, or is it acceptable? And I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.